Hello, everybody out there today, audience today. This is Talk for Kids. Talk for Kids. Tell my story, mommy. Give me one moment here. Just let me get set up here. Give me one moment here. This is Talk for Kids. Tell my story, mommy. I'm here today again to be a voice in this earth for our young people all over the earth. I am a YCCA, a youth care community advocate for young and old people. Not old people. Yeah, I have helped a lot of older people too, but for young children and young adults. Okay, I'm a community care advocate. I'm here today again to speak to you, to raise some awareness, to be a voice in this earth for our youth all over the earth because we have lots of things going on today with young people all over the earth, and there's no one that I can see, that I can clearly see, that's really trying to reach out, really trying to do some things, to change some things, to help our young people. Our jails are overfull with young people from the age of 6 years old all the way up to 20, 27, 30, men and women, little girls and little boys. Okay? This is a big problem. It's all because of childhood trauma. It's all because of childhood abuse, what they have been through in their life, that they never have healed from. They never had they never told their story. Their mom and their daddy never told the story about what their children went through. So me as the youth advocate or the community advocate, I must be the ones to tell the story. I must be the ones to tell the story because the mommies don't want to tell the stories. They don't want to tell the stories about how they abused their children, how they neglected their children, how they did things wrong to their children. They let other people do things wrong to their children. You have a lot of couples right now in prison for killing their children, killing their kids, killing their children, uh, neglecting their children, starving their children, beating their children, killing their children. The jails are overcrowded with these kind of people. Okay, and the only reason they did what they did, the parents and the caregivers of these children, is because they was abused and beat and neglected and abandoned and raped and molested and all of those things when they was little girls and little boys. So can you see how this cycle just keep going on and on and on and on? And there's no sign of stopping. There's no sign of help that I can see to make things better, to change things. So this is why me, the community advocate, my name is Lishaba. Okay, Lishaba is my name. This is why I had to try. I am trying to do something, do something to help these little children, to help these little children, okay, that's being molested, raped, and abused and misused by their moms and their dads and their caregivers, their auntie, their grandma, their cousin, and all of that. They get raped by all kind of people. They get beat. They get tortured. They get starved to death. All kind of things that children go through. Okay, childhood trauma, childhood emotional abuse. That's what it is. The rate is very, very high now. If you do the statistics on that, it is very, very high. It's very high. Okay, so I'm here today because I want to tell the story of my cousin, of my cousin. The title of this broadcast, let me give it to you. The title of this video today is My Cousin Story of Abuse that led him to 50 years in jail. All because my first cousin, he's my first cousin. All because he went through childhood abuse, childhood trauma, growing up in his life. Him and his brother, his little brother. His little brother's like 2 years younger than him. I'm here to tell his story because my cousin, his mama, never did tell his story. She never did. And her problem was his mom and his dad, their problem was that they was always drinking and they was always, doing things to um, childhood neglect. They neglected their children. That's what it was. And my cousins end up going to the foster home because their mom, my cousin, and their dad neglected them. They neglected to provide a safe, comfortable environment for them to live and grow up in. And this is going on with, I say, I would say 90%. I would say 90%, if not 98%. It's very close. It's not too many homes in this world where children are not being mistreated, where children are not being overlooked, where children are not being abused and mistreated and not taken care of. I say everybody in this world have been abused. So I say 100%. 100%. Everybody in this earth have been through some form of abuse. Some form of abuse. Okay? Some form of abuse. So I'm concerned. I'm concerned because I am a survivor of childhood trauma and childhood abuse. I am a survivor. So I am here. I created this channel because I would like the moms and the dads and the aunties and the cousins and whoever would just come here and let's try to form some kind of support group or raise some kind of voice awareness in this earth that we are concerned about all the deaths and all the destructions of children today in this earth. Children where their parents is killing them and taking their life and all kind of horrific things are happening to young people today. Okay? So I'm here to tell my cousin's story. His name is Braille. Braille is his name, and his brother's name is Frankie. So I'm going to read a little bit of the letter that he sent me from jail about a week ago. I told him, cousin, I would tell your story. I said, is it okay? He said, yes, cousin. Please, y'all, please. I'm on the radio. No talking, please. Your voice going to be in my radio. Please, I told him, asked him, do you want me to tell your story? He said, yes, cousin, please tell my story. Please, because I'm in jail for something that I didn't even do. I'm innocent. I'm innocent. So I'm here to tell his story. And whoever else want me to tell a story about their life or the life of their children or what they went through growing up as little girls and little boys, if you don't have enough nerve to tell your own story, just send me just post me a comment, leave me a message, and let me know if you would like me to tell your story on Talk for Kids. Tell my story, mommy. I would tell it for you if you don't have enough nerve to do that. Because I know a lot of people that have been through childhood trauma and childhood abuse, they like to hide the fact that they've been abused, that they've been molested and raped and emotionally and mental and physically abused. They like to hide it. Okay, they want to, they want to act like nothing have went on in their life, and all kind of abuse have went on in their life. Everybody I know have been abused. Everybody I know and my mama have been through childhood emotional, mental, and physical abuse. Okay? So, this is the letter that my cousin Real wrote me. He said, "Dear family, I'm not going to read all of the letter because he got about, I say about 5 or 6 pages here. I'm going to just try to just read some and just go through the main important parts that he's trying to bring out about his childhood abuse and childhood trauma, which it have destroyed his life right now. That's why he in jail for 50 years, because the childhood abuse destroyed him as a man, destroyed him as a little boy, destroyed everything about him. Everything about him, it destroyed him. And that's what childhood abuse do and trauma do to you. It traumatizes your mind. It traumatizes your emotions. It destroys you as a little girl and a little boy. And then when you get older, you still that little girl and you still that little boy that went through all of that pain. You never did grow up because you've been stuck right there at the 6 year old, 5 year old, 3 year old, 2 year old, 1 year old, newborn, whatever age it began, your childhood trauma, you stuck right there in your life. And you haven't grown up, you haven't got rid of the pain, you haven't got rid of the scars, you haven't got rid of the wounds. And that's why you see a lot of people, grown people, acting out today, killing their mama, killing their cousins, killing their sister, killing their nephew, killing everybody in the family, killing everybody in the family. Why? Because they never did get no help. They never did get no healing. They never did get anything from what they went through in their life as little girls and little boys. Okay? I know I didn't get any help. I carried those wounds, those childhood wounds that I had into my adult life. And it destroyed me. It destroyed me emotionally. And this is what it do. It destroys you emotionally, mentally, and even physically. It makes you sick, weak, and all kind of things happen to your body, to your mind. So let's start the letter again for my cousin. Braille is his name. He about, I say he about I say he about 39, 40 years old. He up with my oldest, he about that age. He about that age, 39, 40 years old, something like that. Dear family, I like that you are doing things to help and inspire people in my situation because we need to get our stories out to the public. This is what I've been trying to do now for the past month that I created this channel. I'm trying to get the stories out of the little girls that's committed suicide, the little boys, the grown people that's abusing and neglecting and beating their children down and cutting them up and killing their mom and killing their dad. I'm trying to be that voice. So my cousin is happy that I am doing this, that I am an advocate, that I'm standing up for the people, the young people in this earth that don't have a voice to tell how they doing and how they feel. So he happy that I'm doing it. We need to get the word out, he said. We need to tell our stories out to the public. Absolutely, cuz. Absolutely. If we can do this, we will have a lots and lots and lots of people getting healed in prison, in foster homes, in group homes, your mental institutions. You'll have a lot of healing going on. But that's too right for the president and the Congress and them and the Senate now. That's too right for them to do. That's too right. And that's why we as parents, and that's why we as victims of childhood abuse, we need to raise our voice and stop hiding the fact that you have been abused. Everybody have been abused in some form, shape, and way. So, hero, excuse me, he said his started in the summer of 1989. That's when his abuse began. I was 9 years old when me and my 7-year-old brother was taken from our parents and put in a foster home. On that dreadful day, my 13-year-old brother Michael had moved out the house and had tried some of the drugs on the street. He got into an altercation or argument with my father, his stepdad, and the neighbors called the police. Upon arriving, he lied and told the police that our parents had drugs in the house. They entered into our home and searched, not finding anything, but they discovered we had no utilities, no electricity, no water or gas. This is childhood abuse. When a child is living in a home where they don't have no water, you don't have no gas, and you don't have no lights or electricity, this is part of childhood abuse. You are not parenting your child the correct way. You're not parenting your child the correct way. Okay? And whatever the reasons was that my cousin didn't have no lights and no water and no gas in their home, it was not good for her two little sons and her three sons. She had three sons to live in that environment. To live in that environment. That actually do something to children. When they grow up, they can remember all of that pain that they went through living in a house without water, living in a house without gas, living in a house without lights. That do also cause some kind of trauma to the child's mind and emotions. Okay? So I know, especially black people, they have that bad where, they don't got enough money to pay the gas bill. They don't have enough money to pay the light bill. They don't have enough money to pay the water bill. And see, again, I've been a victim of all of this. So I know what I'm talking about. I've been a victim of all of this. Okay? You should not have children. We should not have children if we're not able to take care of our children the proper and right way. We should not have any children. You only should bring children in the world when you can take care of your children the right way, and you can love your children the right way, and you can support your children the right way. But 9 out of 10 times, everybody that's having children in this earth, they have been through some form of childhood abuse and trauma. So they don't know how to take care of children. They don't know how to raise children. They don't know how to show no love and no support to children. They don't know because they didn't get it from their mom and from their dad. So they don't know. So yes, back to the letter that my cousin Braille wrote me. Okay, so they didn't have no utilities. So what happened, the Child Protective Service, he said that one day he was going to a school picnic, and in the letter he said, and the police came on the bus where him and his brother was, and they they told the Child Protective Service to take them and put them at a foster home. That's what happened. And that's when all hell broke out in my cousin's life when he was took to a foster home. He was already being neglected and mistreated and abused and living in a dysfunctional household, in an unstable household. He was already being childhood traumatized, living with his mom and dad. And then when the foster home came and took him and his brother, he was traumatized even more. So can you see all of this trauma that my cousin Braille have been through in his life? And now he's in jail for 50 years? Oh my God, what a life. What a life. What a life that he have lived in this earth. A horrible, 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 terrible life. Not only him and so many more. Millions and billions more children, adults, grown people are experiencing this. And what's in the jail system? The jail system is nothing but abuse also. You've been abused in there. So his whole life, he been through childhood mental abuse. And now he's a grown man with 50 years in jail. He's still going through abuse and pain and torture. So let me go back to the letter, okay? So they took him off the bus and they took him and his brother to the foster home. And you know what goes on in foster homes. You know what goes on up in the foster homes. Rape, torture, they beat the children, they starve the children, mistreat, oh, they do all kind of children. Have orgies with the children, make the other children have sex with each other. All kind of things go in foster homes. Because again, the people that run in the foster homes, they've been through childhood abuse, trauma, rape, molestation, all kind of forms of abuse. And they trying to run a foster care or a foster home for children. No, 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 no. But again, when you become a foster parent, the state doesn't ask you all kind of questions like, well, what kind of life you had growing up? You know, they don't go into details about your life. They don't go into details about your life because I remember when I tried to be a foster parent, they didn't ask me none of that. All I had to do was sit there and go through a little training that they wanted me to go through, but they weren't talking to me about, well, what kind of life you live, did you have a good life growing up as a child? They asked you none of that. So these people that's over these foster homes and group homes and all these homes, these people have been traumatized by their moms and by their dad. Talk for kids. Tell my story, mommy. Back to the letter. So they took him, okay, he says right here. And they told my mom, and she ran after the bus and she collapsed in the street in tears. My cousin fell out because they took him to the foster home. Then the social worker told me going back home. I later tried to drown myself at a water park. It wasn't to me, die leaving, be held to be traumatized in the foster care home. In our first home, my brother clinged to my side because they both was in the same foster home. Everywhere after almost losing me at the water park and helping away and being taken away from our parents around strangers, the adults began to lock me away in a room. See that? And attempt to keep me apart from my other brother, from my brother. So he tried to kill himself. He tried to commit suicide, my cousin Braille. He was 9 years old. He was 9 years old. He tried to kill himself because he didn't want to live in a foster home. Because he already knew living in that foster home. Very smart. Oh my God. My cousin Braille, he is so intelligent. Him and his brother Frankie, they can make video games, and they very, very smart. They like geniuses in a way. They are geniuses. They was geniuses, little children. They very intelligent kids. So my cousin Braille already knew when he got to the foster home, he can feel the environment in there that this was not a good place for him and his brother to live. So instead of him wanting to live in a foster home with kids and all these people that he don't know, he decided to try and go drown himself and kill himself. This goes on all the time. Children living in homes where they don't want to live with their mom and dad because they know their mom and dads don't love them. Their mom and dads ain't paying them no attention. They go to school. Everybody at the school is bullying them and talking about them. So, they commit suicide. They don't want to live. And this was the condition and the mindset of my 9-year-old cousin, Braille. He did not want to live, but he was not able to take his life. So they locked him away in a room, childhood abuse in a foster home, locked him away in a room, away from his brother Frank, away from the other children. He was locked up like he was some kind of animal. A foster home is just like being in jail. It's just like being in prison. It's the same exact thing. I don't even know why they ever even created foster. I know why they created it, but I'm not talking about this. Okay? So let's go down to the letter where he says, they locked him away and they took him to a boys' home. So they took him away from the foster home to get him away from his brother Frankie, and they took him to a boys' home. And he said, with me gone, my brother was sexually assaulted by the older kids and adults in the home. So they began to rape Frankie, his brother. The adults began to molest his little brother that was in the foster home. The kids, the older kids, 12 years old, 15-year-old, they began to sexually harass and rape his brother Frankie in the foster home. So he got raped. Frankie got raped by adults, and he got raped by the children, the older children that was living in the foster home. Do you see all this hell? Do you see all this torment, all this pain that my two little cousins went through? And both of them are in jail today. Frankie in jail, but he don't have 50 years. They didn't give him 50 years, but he in jail for violating his probation or something, they say. And my other cousin for 50 years, Braille. So you see what I'm saying? Tell my story, Mom. And his mama wasn't nothing but my cousin. She was nothing but an alcoholic. My cousin was an alcoholic. She was a drunk. Her mama was a drunk. My auntie, she was a drunk. Her daddy was a drunk. Okay? Everybody in my family was drunk. So my mama was a drunk. But my cousin, her name is Marilyn. She's not here today. So I'm telling the story. of her and her children today. My cousin Marilyn, Marilyn is her name. She was an alcoholic. She was abused mental, physically, and sexually by her own mother, my auntie. So she didn't, when she was a little girl, she went through a lot of abuse. Ooh, I mean horrific, horrific abuse. Horrific. I mean, I don't watch my auntie take skillets and knock my cousin. I'm talking about skillets and pots, anything she can get her hands on. She used to beat my cousin down, man. Beat her down. So his mom went through a lot of childhood trauma and abuse. So she don't know. She didn't know how to raise no children. She should have never had no children either. And I should have never had none, to be honest. Anybody that ever been through childhood abuse and trauma should not have children because you don't know how to raise your children. You don't know how to take care of your children because you wasn't took care and raised the proper way. So you're going to treat your children the same way or a similar way that your mom treated you and your dad. So they began to have sex with him. It says, they put him into section, and so they and I had got transferred. He said at the new group home there was 3 units for the boys and girls, and the which where I was housed, and he said I entered into puberty and my body matured, and he older now, in a boys home. He more older now, probably 13 years old, 15. And he said he began to perspire more than the other children. And the staff at the a boys home believed I was not showering properly, and but me and put me on a soap watch, a soap check program. This program required me to bathe my body full of soap and yell out soap check. So one of the staff members could view my naked body to verify I was covered in soap and tell me to rinse. Not only was this humiliating, my cousin said, but a staff member would come in and watch me bathe while he masturbated. While he masturbated, watching my young cousin, 13 years old, washing his body in a shower at a boys' home. One of the staff members looked at him and began to masturbate in front of my cousin. So you wonder why it's so many men and women that masturbate today? Because of this very thing that happened to my cousin. They was actually teaching him masturbation. They was teaching him masturbation right then and right there. He probably knew nothing about no masturbation. But because this staff member at the boys' home, do you see all this wickedness and evil that goes on in these boys' homes and groups homes and all these homes, foster homes? Masturbating right in front of my little cousin right there, blowing his little mind away. This is what he went through, him and his little brother, when they got took from their mom and their dad. Yeah, so after he left, he said after he left that boys' home, he said at 14, I was moved back into a regular home with an elderly couple with two other foster kids that was Christians. I learned about God and I was saved, sanctified, and filled with the Holy Ghost, he said, at the age of 15. Me and my brother were soon put back together. And I know his brother Frank, he went through a lot of molestation and rape and beat, and who knows what he went through. He not even telling me his story. This is his brother Brill telling his story. Okay? So they moved into a Christian home. Okay, and I'm trying to just read the letter right here. It's kind of like we was Christians. I learned about God. I was filled with the Holy Ghost. We're soon put back with my brother. My brother Mike was shot 13 times and he lived. That's my other cousin, the one that told the police that the mom and the dad had drugs in the house. He was shot 13 times and he survived it. He was in and out of prison a lot, dysfunctional homes. I was out in the independent living program to live in my own apartment at 15. After being separated from Frankie, again, finally after my parents had secured an apartment, the court held a hearing to immaculate me and my brother and allow us to go home. Over the course of those 3 years, our parents rode bikes and miles to come and see us at the foster homes and the group homes. Okay, so they gave him and his brother back to the mom and the dad. But like I say, my cousin, she was she was messed up. Mentally, my cousin Marilyn, his mama, and his daddy, his name is Larry. Messed up mentally, both of them. Both of them went through childhood horrific abuse. Okay? My cousin kept a nasty home. She never cleaned her home. She didn't clean it up. Stuff was all over the floor. Even when they gave her children back, I visited her a couple of times, and she still was messed up, man. She was messed up. But anyway, so let me read this part. And I'm not going to be here much longer. And he went to live by himself, and then he met this living apartment, and finally after my parents, okay? He says, 15, I started teaching a youth in my neighborhood martial arts and crafts. I told you he was very, 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 very brilliant. You know about magic and all that, how to do magic, gymnastics, and other things. The teens, the teens my age were selling drugs and gangs and would show the kids away, but this is how I met my first girlfriend. He was 16 years old, who took my virginity. So his virginity was sick by a woman. He's saying, well, he was already raped and all that stuff in foster homes and boys' homes, but he's saying he met his first girlfriend. She was 29 and he was 16 years old. She had 6 kids at 29 years old, and he was 16. She was crazy. What do you want with a 16-year-old young man and you 29 years old with 6 kids? She was messed up right there. My cousin got involved with her and she lied on him. He said and said that he raped some of her. The children lied and told her that my cousin real raped them, and she went to call the police and said that he raped her children, one of her little boys, and my cousin went to jail, maybe 2 or 3 years for that. He wasn't up about 16, 17 years old. He was young. That's when he caught his first case, messing with a 29-year-old woman with 6 kids. He caught his first case right there. So you see all the things that his life needs. To treat and 29 with 6 kids, the threat of exposure of our relationship will lead her to filing a false claim against me to protect her and her kids' freedom, but would impact me years later to be continued on Backpage. So the rest of this, my cousin have is a copy of when he caught his first case, and the 29-year-old lied on him, his girlfriend, and said that he raped her little boy, and he went to jail for that. And um, he told me in this letter that um, they talked him into, because he was so young, he didn't understand the jail system and the court system. He was so young, they talked him into a plea deal, and he didn't even understand what he was doing and none of that. So he's saying here in his letter that he was falsely arrested and put in jail because he didn't do what the 29-year-old girlfriend say that he did. And he could have actually put her in jail for having sex with a minor, but he said he loved her so much that he didn't want to do that to her. So he went on and did what he had to do. But I'm not going to read all of this. He's just talking about, and that's just a short version of what my cousin went through. Okay? And right now today, he's in jail for 50 years for something he said he did not do. And he said he's fighting it, and he's not going to take no plea deal like he took with his first case. He's not going to take no plea deal, he said. But he said he have proof now that the first case that he went to prison for, they falsified his signature, they falsified a lot of his records. They falsified it, meaning that they signed things that he didn't sign. And he said he have proof of that right now. And right now he's in the midst of fighting that also. And right now he's in jail for something that they say he did, but he didn't do it. And he have proof that he did not do it. And he did not take a plea deal for the 50 years. And because he didn't take a plea deal, they tried to talk him into it. And he said, no, I'm not taking no plea deal because I did not do it. And see, this is how the jail systems get you. They get you to take the plea deal to say that you did something that you didn't do just to cut off 4 or 5 years. Okay? That's the system. The system is not right. It's not set up right. It's set up to destroy. It's set up to take you down. So I just wanted to come on today a little bit and tell the story of my cousin, because his mama, like I said, Marilyn is her name, his dad is named Larry. They always been drunks, they always been on drugs, they always kept a nasty home, never kept a clean house. Why? Because they've been through childhood trauma and abuse also themselves. So I just wanted to come on a little bit. This is Talk for Kids. Tell my story, Mom. So when will this end? When will this revolving door ever end for young people? When will this revolving door ever end for a child being raised in a home where they've been tortured, raped, molested, starved, beat? When will it ever end? When? How will this? You know how I feel? That we can bring some closure to this is that we begin to tell the stories. Tell the story about little Pam. Tell the story about John when he was 18, how he jumped off a bridge and killed himself. Tell the story about your cousin Ray Ray. He got a gun and blow his brains out. Tell the stories about your mama, how she molested you when you were 6 years old. Tell the story about your auntie and your uncle now, how they molest you, how they rape you, how they beat you. Tell the stories. If we begin to tell the stories, I believe that it will bring forth some healing. It will bring forth some awareness. It will bring forth a solution. Because you know how many people want to tell this story, but they don't have enough nerve. They don't have enough confidence. They don't want to talk about it. They want to keep it a secret because they don't want nobody to know. And my cousin Braille told me, cousin, that's nowhere near what I went through. That's just a little small portion of what I went through. That's just a summary of what I went through. So leave me a comment, like this video, share this video, share this video. Again, my name is Elishaba. I am a CCA community care advocate. And I'm looking for some parents, I'm looking for some moms, I'm looking for some dads, I'm looking for some aunties and grandmas and cousins, and I'm looking for some people that's not afraid to come forth and begin to talk and tell the horrific stories of not only your childhood, but the childhood of your children. Why did Bob, he's 5 years old, got in a chair, put a belt in the closet and hung himself? Why? Why did my 7-year-old son take a rope and strangled himself? Why? We need to tell the stories because the dead children, again, I keep telling you, they are crying out from the graves. They're crying out from the jail cells. They're crying out from the youth homes. They're crying out from the foster homes. They're crying out, saying, please, could somebody just tell what happened to me? And with that, I'm going to talk to y'all later. Again, if you would like to tell a story, and you don't have enough nerve and confidence to do, and you would like me to mention the story for you, leave me a comment and say yes. I would like you to email me. I would like you to tell my story because I don't have enough nerve and enough confidence to tell how my dad molested me for 10 years of my life. I don't have enough nerve and confidence to tell you how my mom tortured me for 5 years of my life. I don't have enough nerves and courage to tell you how I mistreated my children when they was little girls and little boys. I don't have enough nerve. So please, could you tell my story? I need you to let me know, and I will some kind of way leave my email, something. I'll get in touch with you, and we can go confidential. You could tell me what happened, and I will bring it to this platform, to this channel. Talk to y'all later. My allergies up. Talk to you later. Talk for kids. Tell my story, mommy.